Okay, today we're going to continue with our effort to have multiplayer edit of a space. So if we run what we have so far, on my right panel is the Fixer space project. On the left panel we have a previous vrmeet.space project, which this is the rewrite of it, so we might have port some of the Elixir code and TypeScript code that we've written in the past into the new project for fun. Okay, let's just recap what we have so far. What? Oh, sorry. IEX-x mix Phoenix server. We're running our server. Let's open up a browser. Let's go to localhost. And if we go to spaces, we have 2 spaces. Now if we enter, we see some data that is associated with the space. This is the entities. In fact, we can see the entities if we open up the menu. We can even edit the position. Let's go to the right a bit. This will auto save. If we refresh this now, that cube is more over to the right. Now it doesn't modify this in real time, and if another window, browser window such as Firefox were open right now and we made the edit, it would not happen in real time. So we want to be able to communicate over WebSockets. So that's what we want to work on today. So let's go over here and write down what we want to do. So the client needs a connection to a space channel, and it needs to subscribe to entity and component updates, meaning get updates. So that's what we need. So we need some sort of, let's write this down. Make a space channel. This is the Elixir side. A channel will need a supervisor. Well, actually, no. The channel is handled by Phoenix channels, but to talk across channels, we need to make a space server, make a space supervisor, and the channel will talk to the server, which will forward messages to the topic. Actually, we don't need this part yet. If you have a channel, it's automatically subscribed to a topic, and if you broadcast on that topic, you'll be able to forward the messages through. So we can delay on doing this part. That's the thing I need. So that's the back end, and we need to client subscribe, or connect to the channel. So these 2 things need to happen. And then we need to send messages related to entity and component changes. Okay. So to make a space channel, I'm going to close this for a moment. Let's just navigate away. And let's bring back our other window here. What is going on? That's the group I want. Okay. Space channel. And what is a space channel? What does a channel look like? Well, that'll be in the channels folder, and we have some prior work that we can look at. So we have some stuff. Oh yeah, before you connect to the channel, we're going to want to channel web channels. Interesting, there's no channels here. There's no channels folder here. Why? let me look at the router. I'm going to look at this router. Channels don't go through routers. Channels, is it endpoint? Something endpoint? Socket, live. I think this is what it is. Let's see. Endpoint. Live. Interesting, we don't have a socket. So this was not created by default, huh? But what about, don't we have like an app.js? Did it create a socket here? Yes, socket. So there, oh, it created a live socket, but it did not create a regular socket. So what happens, whoops, what happens here, app.js. So over here, it did create a socket, socket. Looks like, yeah, we never created a socket in app.js. Not directly any. Here we imported a socket. It's used by LiveSocket. Is it used anywhere else? Socket. Used in a bunch of places. Socket, 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 socket. So this thing, create an orchestrator start. And what did orchestrator do? Orchestrator, let's jump into orchestrator. Jump into it. This thing utilize space broker. So this thing initialized the space broker. Here's where we created socket. So new socket / socket. Sending in the token, this business here. Okay. So it seems like we're going to want some version of that. So first, let's make the back end. Let's look at their user socket. User socket. So why don't we go ahead and let me make a channels folder under the web directory. Channels and user socket ex. Let's copy some boilerplate over. Bam. This is called Deexer web user socket. It's going to use Phoenix socket, require a logger. Channels will be, let's keep it simple. Let's just have a space to talk about all things related to the space. And here we're going to have a basic connection and verify. Okay, so this has to be the XR web space channel. So we're going to talk about the space channel next. Then we're going to have a connect. It's going to have a token. And we're going to verify the token, which gives you back a member ID, blah, 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 blah. So I think if you return OK, we can verify later. If you return any kind of OK socket, you can join. So we're just going to allow everyone to join. We'll implement security later. So yes, it's not. We don't really care about the token right now. This is params, which is unused. Save that away. And verify, which is not currently used, so we can comment this out. Socket IDs are topics that allow you to identify all sockets for a given user. Okay, not used yet. Okay, so we have the user socket. Somebody could theoretically make a connection and they just connect to this. Okay, so then in the JavaScript side, we want some kind of connect, which was handled in the orchestrator, I believe. Right here it is, new socket. So on this side, let me save this and close a couple files. Where are we at the front end? In the front end, we're looking at app.js, but app.js is not loaded for the space experience, because if we return to the router, in the router, when you're loading an experience that is the space controller, we put a root layout of XR root. So, and then it has no other secondary layout. So XR root brings in the Babylon JS libraries, and then we're bringing in, we still have app.js, but we also have orchestrator.js. Interesting. So, but, yeah, and we still want app.js, right? Do we? We might be using some things from there. But if we import the Phoenix library from within orchestrator, it's going to include the asset twice, which we'll worry about later. So we have orchestrator.js. Fix the formatting a bit here. Okay. Orchestrator.js, which starts with our ES build. We have these targets, these entry points, which is orchestrator TypeScript. So orchestrator here is a place where we could initialize the socket. We would need to import. And what are we importing here? We're importing socket from Phoenix. Import socket from Phoenix. Okay, we have the socket. And let's just assign it somewhere here, public socket. And we'll say that this socket equals new socket. Give it a path of socket, and params, we can leave it empty for now. Okay, So this will simply connect to it, and I just want to see that this has no errors. So if we come here, x-max fix server, okay, and we go over here, let's bring up our inspector. Reload. Okay, jump over here. This will load the orchestrator, and there's no output here, but this socket, new socket, I think we need to do something to connect it, right? So over here, if we have the socket, do we talk about this socket anymore? This socket. This socket goes, sends this to the room broker. Here we go. This socket connect makes a connection here. So let's just see what happens if we do this socket connect. And what does this return? Jump over to it. Can't. What is this? No route for web. No route found. Okay, okay. It tried, and it got no web. That's because our endpoint doesn't contain the socket router endpoint. Let's go to the endpoint and add this socket. So we can just grab this, paste that here, rename a couple of things. So this will be the XR web user socket. So now we should have that endpoint. I think it needs to rebuild. Coming back here. Let's reload this page. Okay, looks like we have connected. We can check, what can we check here? Network, I believe. And here it is. I think this is it. Socket. JS pending. So we want to see WebSocket. So we made a, okay, this is live reload stuff, not related to us. Socket, WebSocket. WebSockets here. Here's token. That's still alive. Okay, well, we made a connection. I think it didn't have any errors. So now what do we want to do? Now we want to also connect to the space channel. So let's, in the back end, create that channel. Let's look for a reference of the space channel here, which it has a join function and a bunch of handle stuff. So let's just implement the join only. So under channels, we'll create the space channel. And we'll go def, close this, def module, fixer web dot space channel to use fixer web channel. And implementation is true, define join with a space and the slug params socket, and we'll just say okay and the socket, I guess. Okay, the return value. Okay, let's just say hi there and the socket. Let's add the slug in there. Slug is the slug. Basic space channel. And now in our user socket, we can reference that space channel, and in the front end we can connect to it. So again, let's look to the previous project. I believe it was called this space broker. So this is initialized with the socket, and then it opens up a channel. So this requires the channel from the Phoenix library. So again, in the front end under orchestrator, you can import channel. And we say that let's create a channel for this. So public space channel, the type of channel. So we should have said that this is a type of socket. What do we get here? We say that this space channel, maybe it should be space channel like this, is equal to this socket channel connecting to the space and this slug. So we don't know what the slug is. And I guess this is any params we want to send. So we need the slug. So we could pass the slug as a parameter here, and then pass it through. It's also define the channel and then do connect as the last thing. So constructor, and maybe we want a slug, which is a string, and then we'll make it a public variable, and then we'll say that this slug is to connect there. And now the caller of the constructor needs to pass that, which is over where. That will be, we've got some red, new orchestrator, yes. So what is the slug? Orchestrator, this is the class, and window orchestrator is new orchestrator. Where are we calling orchestrator? Oh yes, orchestrator is just included. It's just imported on the page. Actually, we have a template. our controller for the space loads the space, and then it renders this show.html. So if we look at templates, space, show, we have some HTML here with space canvas. Yeah, this is the menu overlay. And then we have, okay, so orchestrator is added, but then we call orchestrator start after the DOM content has loaded. So we don't have to wait for the DOM content to be loaded in order to start making a connection to the server. We do need to know the space slug at space slug. Looks like we have it here. And in fact, okay, so the reason why orchestrator is putting itself into the window object is so that we can have access to it. But we won't have access to the slug if we're doing this too early. Unless you can grab it from the browser URL, which I'm not crazy about. You can say new orchestrator, put that on the window. What were we doing before? So before v1 and v2, you've got app.js, and here, once the DOM content is loaded, you check to see if this is really a page that includes the room canvas or space canvas, and then you go about initializing everything. You get the window and the slug and everything. So you initialize this when you're ready. And so that's an option. We can just put a DOM on DOM ready, initialize it, and invoke everything. Which may be a cleaner method so that you're not forced to use this window variable. Yeah. Sort of like that better. So let's do that. So we'll move this window, we'll borrow this thing. So we'll do window add listener DOM content loaded, and then we'll just async this style, and we will cut and paste. So we'll invoke the new orchestrator. So we'll say let orchestrator do this, at which point oh, we still don't have the yeah, we can. We need the space ID. So I think we'll just put an attribute on the page that has all of these things. And then when the DOM is loaded, we can fetch all of these things and then initialize it. So we'll go back to looking at the show. Here we've got some styles that come from menu stuff. So I think all of these can go into a menu partial. So space show. How do you do partials in Phoenix? Phoenix partial template. So you can have a template path, render. So you just say render, and these are variables and a connection. Render many, render template path, render a module with a header and assigns templates are effectively compiled into functions. All right. Let's add a title function to our layout view. Understanding template compilation. Phoenix templates are compiled into Elixir code. When a template is compiled into a view, it's simply compiled as render that expects two arguments, the template name and the assigns. You can prove this by temporarily adding this function clause to your page view module. Define render index HTML assigns the template name and the assigns. By defining your own clause in render 2, it takes higher priority than the template, but the template is still there, which you can verify by simply removing the newly added clause. Manually rendering templates. You can also render views directly. This doesn't correspond to any action in the controller, which is fine. We'll exercise it in the IEX. So view render, live view rendered, dynamic, bit is a function, fingerprint, root false, The output we got is not very helpful. This is the internal representation of how Phoenix keeps our rendered templates. Luckily, we convert them into strings with render to string. We use render to compose our templates. At the end, Phoenix will convert them into the proper representation, send them to the browser. If you want to render the test template from inside our layout, you can invoke render directly from the layout. Phoenix view, render, page view, test, HTML, and assigns. If you visit, you should see this. Since Phoenix View is automatically imported into our templates, we could even skip that part and say render, okay, which is the page view and the template. If you want to render within the same view, you can skip the name and just render this and the assigns. Cool. Okay, so I think we can do this. We can say the edit menu is HTML HEX, and we'll move some of this menu business up and out of it. Space canvas. Editing space. Put this over here. Save that. And over here, we'll just do render edit menu.html and no assigns. Does that still work? Refresh. It's still here. Okay. This is the editing space. That's that iframe, right? Let's move this in there too. So if I just move that, this should have an error. Can't come up. Yep, can't come up. We'll put this here. What's going on here? Oh, we need an assigns here because it has a space slug. Okay. Give it the assigns, which is space. Okay. That works. Now we have a space canvas and yeah, we've got this initial scene. So rather than put this on the window object, let's put it on a kind of what? Let's put it on a tag. Or we can put it here. So we can say, what is it? HTML attributes. I think custom attributes are attributes not part of HTML. HTML affected but are explicitly created. This allows us to add our own information, and these are not specific. Can be used. data dash something in value. So we can say data dash initial scene equals equals that. Which let's try it. Of course, we have to expose it in a different way. Let's do it this way. Gotta put it in. Maybe you have to do it like this, like that. Raw. Actually, what does that give us? What does that give us? Inspect the source. Inspect the source. What are we looking at? Source. Okay, so the quotes are not double quoted. So you need to serialize. Serialize gives you what? Those entities and code, which gives you the string. And what does Phoenix Raw do? This will be shown as this. User data or data is almost there. Oh, in some case you want to tag it as safe and show its raw content. So then that will give you that. Keep in mind most helpers will automatically escape your data and return the content tag of P, JavaScript library, data confirm, data method, data link click, safe, guaranteed to be safe. Attributes. Attributes escape. Safe to string. Elixir escape quotes. sigil s. Sigil s. Here I am. Or how about hi, bye. Okay. So we can do raw sigil s on this string. Not that one, this one. Sigil s on that string. And take that away. What's up with this? Make sure token. Huh? That don't make sense. Oh, okay. I think it's confused. We got to do raw, then sigil s. That handles that, and that handles that. All right. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. What is the problem? Unexpected token. What is going on here? Raw. XR tracer serialize. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, if we just did that, we get hold on, let me view the source. More tools, developer tools, what? Where's the view source? File? From view source, right click, view, press Control U. Control U. Okay, so we want to put raw back up here. I want to put raw. So you want to say for sigil s this, and that. Okay, I don't think it knows what a sigil s is in there. Sigil s high. Phoenix using sigils in template. This. Unexpected token. Let me just call a function here then. We'll just call a function. Whoops. Put initial scene. And it'll say undefined function. Then we'll go to the space controller and we'll define this function. Or maybe in the view. In the view for our space view, you can say define initial scene. Give us a scene. Sorry, give us a space. And what is it we want? Yes. We want to serialize this. So we can return this. Let's go in here. Okay, it still doesn't like that. So you can assign. Oh. Okay, so this gives you the serialized version, which is fine. So we have space. The serialized version, initial scene. Okay, pass in the space. And control U. What we get here is, yeah, it's all quoted and everything, so we need to say that it's raw. Okay, and can we use just raw here? We do that. Refresh this screen. Yes, it works. Now we also need to get the quotes on it, so let's go back to the space view and we can say what if we were to use the sigil s here? I think this is what didn't work, right? Yeah, this needs to take a string inside. It doesn't take something can you do this? Let's see. Can you pipe a string into sigil s? What is the sigil s as a function? Sigils as function in user. Visual S. I do that. I do this. That is okay. Control U. Okay, can't read it, but back in the show, do raw. Okay, do raw, and then visual S on this and interpolate that. Whoa. Character strings not implemented for safe. Man, I just want to export escaped string so we can interpret it as JSON. Maybe we don't want raw. What do we want? I mean, you could just do quote raw initial scene. Okay, go. And let's see, initial scene, the view. Equals repo all space is space equals list first spaces and the XR spaces serialize s.id. That's kind of what I already want. That's the string, but when it comes over, when you do raw on it, what is raw? Phoenix. Raw. There's no change. But more importantly, what is the value here? So if you just did this, we have this value here. So, okay, let's say initial scene. Really, we provided no value here, so it's just, oh, okay, we'll return this. We go to the show. Okay, the raw is this, and does this parse. So can we say console window.get element by ID, which is get element by ID, which is what? Space canvas. Get element by get, what is it called? Document dot. There we go. That is element e dot or e dot get attribute by what? Get attribute, the name of the attribute is what? Data initial scene. Okay, it got up to the first quote, so it is messed up. Elixir print string with escaped quotes. So you could replace and return every instance of a quote with a backslash quote or with an escaped quote. I guess we can go with that. Replace subject pattern replacement. Replace subject pattern replacement. what's happening here. Missing terminator. So I want I want anything with a quote to replace with \\. Quote. No? Hold on. So what is this? That's a slash. Oh, it didn't finish. This slash this. What? Didn't finish. Oh, hold on. Okay, so that's empty \. Quote. Okay, that is a quote with an escape. This doesn't finish, right? Oh god. So we want a literal \. So you go slash escapes the slash, and then a slash quote. Like this. What does this give you? Okay. So that gives us that. And the initial scene gives you what? Why does it have to be an object? Why don't we just encode like a variable? Well, because you want the DOM to load and you want to be able to grab it from the DOM. Because variable, well, it doesn't have to be in the DOM though. We could just make it an object. window initial scene, and we can say that it is scene is raw string, which is fine, I think. Okay. So then we don't have this. And then we move this into the library. So all we're saying is that window initial scene is here. And this should be available because, and we'll just move that down. 1 second. Let me go to orchestrator and dump this stuff in. So, okay, wait. Canvas is initialize, and then we're doing start on it. Do this menu button and editing space, and then you say that when you click on this, you're going to, you add some initial toggle of that. Okay, that's fine. I can move this into that other thing. We need the window, whatever. So window initial scene. Gonna do a console log window initial scene. This and what happens here? Can you do entities map that function? Why don't we just comment this out for a second? Here it is. Scene. Okay. Yes. So you give us how about window initial scene? Up here, window, and let's just break it out. So let initial scene equal window initial scene, and here we'll give the initial scene dot, or what is it? Scene. Here we're giving the slug. One second. So at what point do we start parsing? Okay, parse the window initial scene. So we're going to get the initial scene in here. So we're going to say we get the slug, but we also get public initial scene, which is an any, I guess. Yeah, it's any. So we'll do that. Now in the show, we'll get that the scene is that, the slug is, of course, space dot slug. We'll just do that. We should probably build this whole thing on the server side so we're not doing string interpolation and all that kind of stuff. So let's just call it serialize. Serialize gives you entities. Yeah, let's do this. So we'll have a map of entities is entities, and slug is serialize. Just give me a space. Okay, so that'll be a new serialize. There'll be entities and the slug. Serialize a space. Okay. So what calls serialize? So in the show, we're calling raw serialize. Just give us a space. Actually, just give us serialized space. It's just that. and we don't need this. So on the show, that's all we have. Serialize space. We go to orchestrator, and we're going to pass in a serialized space. Serialized space, which is a map of slug, string, and entities. So this can be serialized space dot slug. I think we're gonna need the entities. Parse initial scene with the entities. So let's just save this. Public slug with a string. Public entities is a list of any. So this dot slug is serialized space dot slug. This dot entities is serialized space dot entities. And then here, when you parse this, you'll parse this entities. Yep. Going back to show. Okay, we serialize the space, and the library for the orchestrator waits for here down at the bottom. We wait for the DOM content loaded. We grab initial serialized space. Serialized space. And we just pass that in. Okay, so this is there. Then we start, and then some menu stuff. Okay, what do we got here? Looks like it works. I'm gonna add a new sphere. Add that. And let's change the scale to be very wide. And if I reload this page, got me a wide sphere in there. Any errors here? No. Okay, so we did some refactoring of the orchestrator, move some things around. I think I can even move this stuff into another DOM content loaded for the menu stuff. So you got a menu button, and that's the menu editing space. Classless toggle editing. Yeah, let me move this out. Copy this, and we'll put this up in the other the other file. Just move script here, script, but remove this stuff. And over here, sorry, in the orchestrator, we can remove this. So the orchestrator is really just involved with itself, initializing itself for the scene, whereas this menu here, where to go? Edit menu, sort of sets the styles, and it sets an event listener that will tie together the space menu toggle for the iframe. Alright, so that still works. That's interesting. When I refresh, it's fine. Okay, now is our channel being subscribed to? Maybe we can output something. Here we're saying, hi there, slug. And in our orchestrator, if we correctly subscribed here, which we space channel socket connect, this channel socket channel, do we need to join it? This space channel dot join. Don't remember. Let's check the broker here. Is there something called like a join? Whoops. Space channel. Anything? On this, on that, on. Yeah, you gotta join. Connect. So when is connect called? Connect should be called I assume after you do socket connect, right? Socket connect, then room broker connect. Okay, so you connect that, then do this dot space channel dot connect. Space channel connect. Oh, join. Okay. Join. Does it return something? Join dot what? Channel. Can't drill into it. Phoenix channel join. join OK socket. OK variable socket. So here you can join. Oh, here it is. Receive. Let's see what we get here. We'll push orchestrator join and plop this in. Identifier expected. What? Channel join. Receive. Okay, join successfully. Identifier but found dot. Oh, we've got 2 dots here. So in here, join successfully. Hi there. Cool. All right, so now we've joined, and we still need to send a message across. So we'll do that in the next one.